Hey everyone, I'm reading Descendants of Time and Death, the God Scion by Winnifred Tataw, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Not a Party Person. Why did you agree to come here, Arciella? When Roderick asked me to come to Draconian college party, I thought it would be a place to enjoy myself and meet new people. We hadn't seen each other in 2 months, and it felt like every time we would try to meet earlier, fate had other plans. I wanted to have fun. Having had to push my way through a crowd of hot and sweaty people was not my idea of fun. Everyone was either sitting around, outside, smoking anything and everything, making out, dancing on random people, or drinking until they could no longer walk straight. It was uncomfortably crowded, both outside and inside the house. So I decided to relax on the roof balcony. There I met more people who had the same idea. People who wanted some fresh air and a bit more peace. I knew trying to talk with them would be useless. Their stares were colder than the autumn air. The falling fire orange leaves and the smell of damp earth mixed with alcohol made for a soothing and weird combination. I sat there on the roof, alone, trying to text Roderick, who I lost track of the minute we had arrived. I wanted to go back to my dorm and sleep till my heart's content. Well, after I got some proper food in my stomach. I had no idea where the food table was, and asking other people didn't really help at all, especially when I didn't know how to pray in porta or project my voice over the loud music. Still, my porta was getting better day by day, but most of the college students, I've learned, are more stuck up than I thought. Now Roderick's disdain for the wealthy and powerful made more sense. I leaned my head back and sighed. I want to go home. Do you? Already? I turned around. There he was, standing with his hands in his dark jeans. His silk button-up and loafers were somehow still white. His long red hair was tied up into a sloppy ponytail. I felt the people around watching us and whispering to each other. I frowned. How did you find me so quickly? He shrugged. You forgot. I can mess with time. I rolled my eyes. Oh. Yeah. I looked to the moon. I felt his blue eyes on my back. His arms wrapped around me as he rested his head in the crook of my neck. Você tem problème? Stop staring and mind your business. I looked at Roderick. Was that for me? He shook his head. No, it's for everyone else who is looking at us. I turned my head slightly to see most people obeying their prince's order. Even after the chaos of Brighton and the tar died down a bit, everyone still wanted to understand every little thing going in the Dyer royal family, which was nothing new. They were royals, but it was a lot more pestering, especially when it came to what Roderick was doing every second of every day. With me going to college here in Dyer instead of Kier, it didn't help. It helped tip the scales in Roderick's favor. Roderick was not as worried about the revived interest in his life. He was a lot busier now and a lot more tired, and when we found time to talk and hang out, it didn't go unnoticed by the public and press. I missed you. He held me tighter. Is that why you left me alone? I asked. He chuckled. No, I had to talk to some people and the guards who came with us. Are they here? I asked. He shrugged. Possibly, though I don't care. You should. They are here to protect your lousy butt, I spoke. Well, they have to know where I am to do that, don't they, Celia? I sighed. Roderick, can I leave, please? Why? He asked, sounding confused. I turned around in his arms and looked at him. I'm out of place here. I'm not a party person. Well, at least, I don't like these types of parties. Everything is too much. Plus, the second we got here, you ditched me, but no hard feelings. He sighed. You can leave, but why do you think you have to ask me? I don't know how to get back to Shrone from here, I pointed out. He smirked. Well, maybe if you came to more places with me, you would know. Roderick, I came here for college, not for fun. He huffed. I know, that's why you're going to Shrone in the first place, he said, rolling his eyes. I don't know why he always seemed bent out of shape when I talked about Shrone University. He was the whole reason I was able to get in and go to such a prestigious school in Dyer. Heck, he was the person who convinced me to cut my break year short to go to school. Also, I had been fighting with my mom about the lies she'd been telling me again. But I digress. Roderick, come on, I whined. I'm not having any fun here anyway. You would have more fun back in your dorm, he asked. I nodded. Yes, I love Shrone. It's the greatest school for someone who loves nature, community, and new people as much as you do, he said, mocking me. I sucked air through my teeth. I don't sound like that. He leaned down and rested his head on my shoulder. I felt the heat that radiated from him. Roderick, what's wrong? Nothing, he mumbled. I've missed you. I wrapped my arms around him, holding us closer. You already said that, and I missed you too, I said. He raised his head. Really? He smirked. How much? I rolled my eyes. You ruined the moment. I started to move out of his grip. He pulled me close again. We're not done, he whispered in my ear. He pulled me closer until our foreheads touched. You're not cold? I asked softly. No, he whispered. A smile crept on my face. You should be, I whispered back. He leaned down into my ear. I'm not, and I should be asking you that. So vos está aquí? Roderick groaned and rolled his eyes. He slid one of his arms off me, but the other stayed wrapped nicely around my hip. He turned around. What do you want, Sophia? A girl around our age stood in the doorframe of the attic to the roof. She had long legs and creamy skin, and her hair styled in a brown low-high bob. She had sharp facial features and green eyes, which her dark eye makeup brought out. She was wearing a short wine-colored tube dress and leather thigh-high boots. She crossed her arms. Before you disappeared, I was promised a dance. So? Promises can be broken, Roderick spat. I looked at Roderick, then the girl. She finally noticed me and smirked as she bowed. Oh, I didn't see you. Good evening, princess. I nodded and looked at Roderick. Why did you make a promise you knew you were going to break? He ran his hand through his hair. The girl coughed to get our attention, walking a bit closer. I'm Sophia. How are you enjoying my party, princess? I'm not, I deadpanned. She frowned and looked at Roderick. So, is she a girlfriend or another plaything? I'm neither, I said sharply. It seems it wouldn't matter to you anyway. I phased out of Roderick's grip. Roderick, have fun. I can find a royal guard to take me back. He frowned. Sweetie, come on, don't do that. Have fun with your dance, I smirked. Roderick reached for my hand and pulled me back. I'm leaving with my date. I didn't know if he was talking to Sophia or me. I raised my eyebrow. So now I'm your date? You could be more. Sophia sighed heavily. Roderick, I don't have all night. Then go find someone else who wants to dance with you, he snapped. She doesn't want to stay anyhow, Sophia combated. I sighed at Sophia. Fine. How about we leave together and go do something a bit more fun? Date? Roderick smiled. I like that idea. He looked at Sophia, who looked back, genuinely annoyed. Thank you for inviting us. I invited you. Whatever. Roderick intertwined his fingers with mine. We're both leaving regardless. Sophia looked at us, shocked. Some of the people around us snickered and whispered among themselves. Fine. Don't hit my number tomorrow morning when she's gone and you're bored again. Roderick gripped my hand tighter. I should be saying that to you, Tramiria. More people snickered and some ooh around us. With that, Sophia twirled on her heels and clicked away. What did you call her? I asked. He smirked. Nothing important. We began to make our way inside. So, you have a place in mind where we should go? I questioned. He let go of my hand and wrapped his arm around my shoulders. He leaned down and murmured, Yeah, I do. I rolled my eyes. If we're going back to the castle for some fun, I'm spending my time with Rana. He sighed. Rana is at a sleepover, so that means the only other person at the castle would be Riva. Trust me, that is the last place you or I would want to be right now. Then where are we going? He looked down at me and smiled. You'll see. Roderick had the brilliant idea to take us, including his guards we found, into one of the botanical gardens owned by Royal Castle. Surprisingly, there was no security. Then again, what could you steal from a place full of park benches, water, bushes, and trees? We decided to sit down underneath a sizable reddish-brown tree perched on a small hill overlooking the cityscape. Roderick looked at the night sky. I could tell he was enjoying the beauty of it. All the twinkly lights against the night sky. It was beautiful. We seemed to be glowing, even in the dimmest park lights. As I leaned back in my spot, I looked at Roderick as he put his arm around me. Hey, you know I have an idea where I want my first tattoo? He looked down at me, laughing softly. That was out of the blue. Where do you want it? I touched my left side, near my scar. I don't know whether I want to cover it or place the tattoo next to it, though. What do you have in mind, tattoo-wise, that is, he asked. I shrugged. I don't know that either. Maybe a quote? I looked at him. He sucked his teeth. So creative. Now it's time to suck my teeth. Then what do you think I should get? No words or flowers. I think you should get something important to you. Like a quote, I countered. No, I have to. So why are we here? I asked. He relaxed. Well, you didn't seem to be enjoying the party. So I thought, why not we do spend time together alone? I chuckled. We're not that alone, I said, looking back at the two guards standing feet away. He sighed. Yes, I understand, but they have to follow me everywhere I go. You're aware of that. I smiled. Lucky. That ended for me once. Once my mother steps down from the throne. Anyway, about your mom. Are you guys still fighting? I scoffed. Of course we're still fighting. That is one of the reasons why my mom is leaving. I mean, my aunt stayed, so the guilt couldn't have as bad for her, I grimaced. He sighed. Remember I said I would wait for you to tell me what's going on between you guys? I nodded my head. Yeah. He looked down at me. It's been over a year. Do you mind telling me what's up? I don't have had any reason not to tell him. There was so much lying, so much deceit, that it felt wrong to not speak out about it. His hand squeezed mine and I looked at him. What's wrong? Tell me. Come on, I'm here to listen. I gave him a soft smile. Thank you. He smiled back. You're welcome. But, as I said, I'm here to listen. I sighed. You're so persistent about this. He pulled me closer. It's because it has been bothering you for over a year. You bragged about how close you were with your mom for months, and then suddenly, you're taking up my offer to come to college here. I mean, I had no problem with that, but it was so unexpected. And now that you're here, everything with you is a bit off. I know. I looked down. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, baby. Just let me know what happened. I bit my cheek. So, you got a new nickname for me. He eyed me. You have been my baby for a while now, so stop trying to change the subject. I leaned into him. I have for a while? Arciela, he said, in a warning tone. Why are you avoiding my questions? I bit my lip, not saying anything. Are you comfortable with talking to me? He asked. I gazed at him. Of course I am. He kissed my forehead. Then what's wrong? Please tell me. Okay. I moved so my legs spread across his lap. Roderick took it a step further and sat me fully on his lap. I exhaled and leaned into his chest. He smelled like fresh mint and laundry detergent. It was a weird but pleasant smell. He rubbed my arm. Celia, I let out a breath. Do you remember when I told you about my father, how he died in the plane crash? Yes, I remember, he responded, hugging me closer to his body. I sniffled a bit, trying to hold back my angry tears and relax my tense muscles. Well, I learned that my mom was the cause of it. Party pooper. I blinked at her twice. What? What do you mean? Arciela sighed and laid her head on my shoulder, trying to hide her face. My mom, she uttered. I think she had planned the plane's crash. I don't believe it was an accident. I rubbed her shoulders. How do you know all of this? I don't think Queen Fiola up and told you. She scoffed. Of course not. I came to that conclusion, like every other instance, with my family by being nosy. I chuckled lightly. It's easy to be nosy when you can phase through walls. She glanced at me. Even though I've learned that, there's a lot of consequences to it. How did everything come about? I asked. Arciela sighed. Well, we'd been talking about our families, so I started to get curious about him again. I don't know, but something in me was telling me to look over the case file of the plane crash. I started to feel small wet spots on my shirt. I ran my hand over Arciela's face, wiping away her falling tears. She continued, When I began to ask my mother questions again, problems started. When she got defensive about my claims of the plane's crash caused being strange, I knew she was hiding something. I finally moved my hand away from her cheek. What was strange about the crash? She shifted in my lap. Apparently, the plane's navigation and central controls stopped working. The pilots were not able to control the plane. That was what led to it diving headfirst into the water during the crash. I ran my fingers softly through her hair. The thing is, she started, one of the engines in the picture that was recovered from the crash looked as if something had, exploded. I don't know how to explain it. As I saw those pictures, something in me told me It didn't feel right. I had this hunch about it. It was the company's first plane crash in over 30 years, and because of a technical failure, the controls stopped working mid-flight. Thanks.